confirmation hearing on the appointment of Attorney Benjamin C. Sison as Magistrate Judge for the Judiciary of Guam is hereby convened. For the information of the public, in accordance with the open government law, the initial notification to stakeholders as well as to the community and with the assistance of our media partners was disseminated on the 26th of July, and with the second notice also being forwarded to our stakeholders and to our media partners on the 29th of July. We have received some written testimonies, but I noticed that there are individuals in the audience who have provided those written testimonies, so rather than highlighting them, I'll wait until, in fact, we hear from them. Anyone wishing to provide oral testimony, please, I encourage you to sign up. If by any chance you're here to signify whether you're supporting the nominee or stating your position and you do not plan on presenting oral testimony, then as I call out your name, then just please let the chair know so that we can go ahead and proceed with other individuals who have signed up. Before we begin to call up witnesses, I would like to recognize the Vice Chair of the Committee, Senator Tom Atta, and also the members of the committee, Senator Tommy Morrison, Senator Tony Atta. Thank you, Senators, for joining us this evening. Again, the only item on the agenda is the confirmation hearing of the appointment of Mr. Attorney Benjamin C. Sison as Magistrate Judge for the Judiciary of Guam. We will begin by calling the Honorable former Congressman and President of the University of Guam, Mr. Robert Underwood. If you can join us at the table, please. Ms. Lisa Baza Cruz, Mr. Gerald Cruz. Please, ladies and gentlemen, as I call your name and you would like to provide oral testimony, then proceed to the table. Karina Castro, Joanne Mazaka. Yo, Karina and Joanne. Okay, thank you. Ms. Dot Harris, are you providing oral testimony this evening? Okay. Herman Polino, I'm sorry, Mr. Polino. Will you be providing oral testimony? Okay. Thank you. Sean Paris. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Paris. Polly Husaby. Thank you, Ms. Husaby. Dana Gutierrez. Please, if you can join us up front. Cynthia Kuubi. Leah Dunca. Ladies and gentlemen, if you bear with me, we're just trying to ensure that we fill out the chairs, and then we'll proceed with receiving testimony. Mr. David Castro. Thank you, Mr. Castro. Alan Polino. Will you be presenting oral testimony? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Polino. Dan Sison. We'll call you up shortly. Okay. Theodore Santos. Okay, please, if you can join us up front. Simone Bollinger. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bollinger. Julian Paris. Okay. Thank you. Colin Paris. Okay. Thank you. Alberto Tolentino. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Betty Ann Woodstick. Thank you. Frank Paris. Thank you, Mr. Paris. Jerry Talahi. A testimony. Thank you, Mr. Talahi. Annie Harris. Thank you, Ms. Harris. Darrell, if you can help me out here. Darrell Harris. Okay. Vicky Renascia. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Renascia. Trying to fill out that last seat. Okay, Rosita Kirigua. Thank you, Ms. Kirigua. And Dominic Talahi. Okay, thank you, Mr. Talahi. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the individuals who have signed in this evening, and we still have one seat left at the table, but we're going to proceed with Congressman Underwood, former Congressman and President of the University of Guam. If you can proceed and identify yourself for the record.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Hafade Todosamto, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here this evening, and actually it's a letter that's co-signed between me and the university's legal counsel, Vicky Renasha, and I'm here to testify on behalf of Benjamin Sison as being a magistrate judge. We've worked with him on a contractual basis for over 15 years at the university, and we find him to be really a great attorney. He helps us out, not on a lot of issues, but on a number of issues, and we always found him to be ethical, professional, offers very sound legal advice, and in that professional capacity, he has served the university very well. We're really happy to see him perform this role as a magistrate judge. I'm glad to have worked with him in the past. I hope never to see him in his professional capacity in the future. But I'm very happy to present that. He is, University believes that Attorney Sison has the judicial temperament and integrity to be a good magistrate judge, given his background experience as a professor at the Guam Community College, a small claims and traffic court referee, tax and estate planning lawyer. In addition to his own private practice, the university thinks he's without doubt qualified for the job as magistrate judge. His familiarity and experience with those duties required of a magistrate judge make him the perfect candidate for the position, and we hope that you confirm him. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ms. Renasha, did you want to add any comments because you co-signed the testimony?
Just to reiterate everything that President Underwood has said, I've known Ben for over 20 years now, and I find him to be highly ethical. He's been very responsive to the university's needs, and without hesitation, the university fully supports his confirmation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Renasha. If we can now start with Mr. Kuubi.
Buenas noches, Chairman Aguon and members of the Committee on Guam U.S. Military Relocation, Public Safety, and Judiciary. Good evening, Senator Ada, Senator Morrison, and Senator Ada. My name is Cynthia Kuubi, and I'm an attorney licensed to practice law in the local courts of Guam, Federal District Court of Guam, and the Ninth Circuit of Court of Appeals for over 26 years. I'm pleased to present my testimony in support of the confirmation of the appointment of Attorney Benjamin C. Sison Jr. to serve as magistrate judge for the Superior Court of Guam. I've known Ben and the Sison family for many years, dating back to our childhood days when we first attended parochial elementary school together. For as long as I've known Ben, he has always been a very bright and intelligent student and has received numerous academic and meritorious awards throughout his school life. Ben also comes from a family of successful professionals who have aspired to do well in all their professional careers. In addition to his strong academic achievements, Ben has had extensive legal experience as a private practitioner in the areas of domestic and family law, tax law, probate and estate planning, contract law, real property, and procurement law. He teaches as an adjunct professor at GCC and serves as a referee over our traffic court and small claims cases that are filed before the Superior Court of Guam. Ben is an individual who possesses qualities of leadership, honesty, and integrity, along with maintaining good work ethics. I am confident that Ben's legal and professional experience, combined with his commitment and contribution to our community, will make him a valuable asset to the judiciary of Guam. And I humbly request your favorable consideration to allow him to serve as magistrate judge for the Superior Court of Guam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Kuubi. Ms. Gutierrez.
Hi, Hafaday, and good evening, Chairperson Aguon, Senator Tom Ada, Senator Tony Ada, and Senator Morrison. My name is Dana Gutierrez, and I am the Director of Policy, Planning, and Community Relations at the Judiciary of Guam. I am present today on behalf of our Chief Justice, Robert J. Torres, who recently attended the Conference of Chief Justices and is off island. I note that our Administrator of the Courts, Joshua Tenorio, is also off island, having recently attended the Conference of State Court Administrators. Chief Justice Torres has requested that I read his written testimony on the appointment of Benjamin J. Sison Jr. as Magistrate Judge into the record. Dear Chairman Aguon, this testimony is provided in support of Attorney Benjamin J. Sison Jr.'s appointment as Magistrate Judge to the Superior Court of Guam. I would like to thank the Guam Legislature for funding the additional Magistrate Judge position and for expanding the duties of the Magistrate Judge. The Magistrate Judges, with their expanded duties, will further assist the Superior Court trial judges as they are now able to conduct criminal trial settings, preside over preliminary hearings and render decisions over procedural and discovery motions in criminal cases, preside over initial scheduling conferences in civil matters, and preside over unlawful detainer proceedings. The judiciary appreciates the continuing support provided by the Guam Legislature to ensure that we meet our mission to administer justice by interpreting and upholding the laws, resolving disputes in a timely manner, and providing accessible, efficient, and effective court services. As provided in my May 2, 2016 appointment letter, Attorney Sison was selected from the 3 candidates put forward by the Guam Bar Magistrate Selection Committee. In December 2015, the Selection Committee solicited applications from its members for the Magistrate Judge position. Upon receipt and evaluation of applications, the Selection Committee forwarded the applications of 3 candidates to me for consideration. I, along with the Administrator of the Courts and the Clerks of Court for the Supreme and Superior Courts, reviewed each application and met with each applicant to discuss their vision of the role of the Magistrate Judge. Upon review and interview, I selected Attorney Sison as my appointment for Magistrate Judge. Attorney Sison obtained his Juris Doctorate degree from Boston College Law School in 1990. He has held positions in both the private and public sectors, including Assistant Attorney General with the Washington State Attorney General's Office, Associate Attorney for Torres PC, and Partner for the Law Office of Limtiaco, Cruz, and Sison, PLLC. Currently, Attorney Sison runs a solo practice, Sison PC, and serves as a Superior Court referee presiding over traffic and small claims, court trials, and hearings. With the recent resignation of Judge James Canto, Attorney Sison is presiding over child support cases to allow referee Linda Ingalls to serve as Judge Pro Tem over Judge Canto's cases. Additionally, since 2006, Attorney Sison has served as a professor at the Guam Community College, teaching courses in criminal law, criminal procedure, criminology, juvenile justice, traffic law, American government, and business and contract law. Aside from satisfying the requisite statutory qualifications for the position of Magistrate Judge, I believe Attorney Sison has the competence, experience, and temperament to be a successful magistrate. Further, Attorney Sison exemplifies the core values adopted by the judiciary as part of its strategic plan: professionalism, integrity, and excellence. I encourage the Guam Legislature to support my appointment of Attorney Sison and confirm him as the next Superior Court of Guam Magistrate Judge. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony in support of Attorney Sison. If you have any questions or would like additional information, please do not hesitate to contact me. Sinceramente, Robert J. Torres, Chief Justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gutierrez, and please extend our appreciation to Chief Justice Torres for not only his nomination, but also his written testimony in support of the nomination.
I will, Senator. Thank you.
Please.
Hi, my name is Dr. Lisa Baza Cruz, and I am a professor at the Guam Community College. Without reservation, I gladly write this letter of recommendation for Mr. Benjamin Sison Jr. in support of his confirmation as Magistrate Judge. This testimony is written from my perspective as a client, a colleague, as well as a longtime family friend. I first became acquainted with Mr. Sison in the early 90s when my father sought and retained his professional services. During these past 20 years, Ben has sustained a high level of quality in his professional responsibilities. He is aware of the history of my family's current estate and is able to provide useful, practical, and realistic direction. He is articulate, thoughtful, and personable. I have found him to be sincere when responding to the concerns and needs I have brought before him. As a client, this is of utmost importance. In addition, Professor Sison is a colleague at the Guam Community College. He is with the Criminal Justice and Social Sciences Department, and I am the department chairperson for English. About 8 years ago, Ben began to undertake adjunct courses at the community college. It was at this time that our relationship transitioned into the educational field, which is my expertise. I was impressed by his knowledge base, and his ability to provide clear responses to legally based questions which arose during his class sessions. In other words, his students did not get lost in all the legalese. He secured a permanent faculty position in fall 2014. Since then, we have served on the same college committee. He and I continue to hold lively debates regarding the professional implications, both positive and negative, which apply to current and controversial educational issues and concerns. In all his endeavors, Ben remains knowledgeable in his field, dedicated in his work ethic, and professional in his performance. Within our interactions, I have found Ben to be extremely versed in Guam's laws, procedures, and policies. He is cognizant of the unique diversity and demographics of our community and the Pacific region population. He continues to develop and finesse his career goals through continuous professional experiences within the educational realm. As a colleague, this is of utmost importance. Ben's cheerful nature, commitment to the highest professional standards, and compassion towards others are only some of the qualities that make him an exemplary role model and would certainly benefit our island community. He is a conscientious individual and is deliberate in his thinking. In many of our discussions, he weighs the situation I present to him and provides feedback that allows me to consider the position as I undergo the decision-making process. He has a great sense of humor, which he uses to apply levity in rather tense situations. He is trustworthy and dependable. Ben has goodness in his heart. As a friend, this is of utmost importance. It is a privilege to be able to speak on Ben's behalf. It is without hesitation that I fully support the application of Mr. Benjamin Sison Jr. He has indeed earned this consideration through his unwavering efforts and high standards and years of professional experience. He is an articulate, dedicated, professional, and erudite individual. More importantly, he is a man of profound integrity. He has and continues to demonstrate the commitment, professionalism, and leadership skills critical to a magistrate judge position. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Plaza Cruz, for your testimony this evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Theodore Santos, and I have known Ben Sison and his family since childhood. But I'm here to speak as a client of Ben Sison. I've been a client of his for over 15 years. And I speak not only as a client, but also as a member of the California State Bar. And I can attest to Ben's outstanding knowledge of the law, legal procedure, and court rules and regulations. I greatly admire Ben's efficient and pragmatic approach and his ability to identify the core legal issues in many different areas of law. Ben is also committed to an impartial and equitable application of the law in our community and has an appreciation of the effect that his decisions will have on those who appear before the court on a day-to-day basis. I think this is the sort of approach that engenders respect in our legal system and faith in that system and would make Ben a very worthy magistrate judge. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express my support for his appointment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Santos, for your testimony this evening.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Chairman Aguon and members of the committee, good evening. My name is Alberto Tolentino, and I am the Magistrate Judge of the Superior Court of Guam. and I'm here today to voice my support for the nomination and confirmation of Benjamin Sison as a magistrate judge. As you are aware, the position of a magistrate was created to address and alleviate the caseload demands of the judges of the Superior Court of Guam by providing a judicial officer of limited jurisdiction who would preside over matters which, if they were to be included in the calendars of the 7 general jurisdiction judges, some of who are also presiding over specialty courts, would certainly impede the timely and efficient delivery of judicial services to the people of Guam. I can attest that the magistrate duties, as outlined in the earlier versions of the statute which created the position, although limited as it was, had required a great deal of time and effort to discharge. By way of illustration, in the first quarter of this year, I have presided over 3,500 hearings at the Northern Court Satellite, which include the first appearances of criminal defendants, arraignments, collection cases in the Master Court calendar, the Criminal Collections Court, small claims, traffic trials, and other related hearings, and assisted sometimes in juvenile preliminary hearings. I have conducted over 400 some matters via video conference also at the NCS. And in the second quarter of this year, the number of hearings conducted at the Northern Court was around 3,800. This activity does include the weekend magistrate hearings, which is probably primarily why I'm here, because I need a break from the weekends. Since I've started, I've worked every weekend. And so this is about 7 years or so. But with the expansion of the powers and duties of the magistrate as encompassed in Public Law 3374, including the authority to conduct criminal trial settings and preside over preliminary hearings in criminal cases, which would also involve decisions and judgments and over procedural and discovery motions, as well as other duties pertaining to the civil cases which were outlined by the speakers before, the need for an additional magistrate judge is warranted. I respectfully submit that. There would have been no way I would have been able to do that given the caseload that I have just as the magistrate trying to help out with the judges. In my estimation, Ben is extremely qualified to undertake and effectively discharge the duties of the magistrate judge. His nomination by the Chief Justice of Guam came after a selection process which included input from the Guam Bar Association and his peers. He has maintained a successful private practice of law for many years in the fields of estate planning, collections, tax, and other areas. He has, in addition to his Juris Doctorate, Ben has also attained an LLM in the field of tax law, and he has served as a referee for the Superior Court of Guam for a number of years, and has consequently developed an understanding and appreciation of the demands, obligations, and expectations of and upon a judicial officer of the courts of Guam. In my professional interactions with Ben, he has demonstrated knowledge and thoughtful consideration of the matters entrusted to him as a referee and has been an invaluable resource as I was first discharging my duties as a magistrate in the small claims and traffic arenas. His insight and perspective in many areas of law will serve him well and make him an invaluable asset to the judiciary in the capacity of a magistrate judge. I have known Ben for a long time. We both come from almost common backgrounds. We are both the sons of medical practitioners. I went to San Vicente and he went to St. Anthony. Okay. And we actually started off with BSs in biology and actually ended up practicing law, which I don't know how that works out. But I do know that Ben, as a person and individual, as everyone else has said, is a very personable person, approachable, does not come across with any pretense because of the success of his practice and his other accomplishments. He's a very straightforward guy. And it would be a great honor and privilege to also work with him as a magistrate, and I hope the committee looks favorably upon his nomination and confirms him to the position of the magistrate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Judge Tolentino, for your testimony this evening. Senators, any questions for the panel members? If not, Attorney Kuubi, Attorney Gutierrez, Attorney Renashia, Dr. Baza Cruz, Mr. Santos, and Judge Tolentino, thank you very much for your testimonies this evening.
Thank you.
Dismissed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite the following individuals. If by any chance, I know that this is an additional list of individuals that came in shortly after the introduction. If by any chance you're here to express your physical support rather than provide oral testimony, please signify and let the chair know. Mr. Paul Kaneshir. Thank you. Benjamin Sison. Ophelia Sison. Thank you. Norman Kidachai. Thank you. Anlu Mindiola. Thank you. David Bloss. Please approach the table. Thank you. Susan Kaneshir. Francis. Can someone help me out here? No testimony? Okay. Thank you, Francis. And Ronaldo Rickerman. Thank you, sir. We have two additional individuals before Attorney Sison. So please, if we can.
Chairman Aguon, Senator Ada, Senator Morrison, Senator Ada. I'm reading this as a third party for my friend, and I'll go ahead and just read it.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. I was asked by Ben or Benji, as he is known by many of his friends, to say a few words on his behalf, so I'll keep it short and sweet. I won't be able to tell you about remarkable feats of heroism done by Benji. I'm not sure if he's even saved a stray cat or dog. I won't elevate him to a superhero status, especially in light of all the recent testimonials the past 2 weeks in this political season. But I can tell you about Benji from the perspective of both a friend and a client. Benji is thoughtful, engaging, and considerate. There's a group of us who routinely meet for weekend coffee. Although Benji's beverage of choice is iced tea, we have yet to exclude him. During these moments, I have had ample opportunities to witness his interactions with others, be it a former client, student, friend, or just an acquaintance. And I have always seen him treat them with courtesy and respect. This initially left me wondering if it was all an act. And as the old saying goes, time would tell. It's no act at all. This is Benji, a decent, honest, likable person who any one of us would be privileged to call a friend. Prior to Benji considering this position, he asked me my thoughts, weighing out the pros and cons, his dilemma at GCC, leaving his students and his passion for teaching the law. In his private practice, his loyalty to his clients, his concern of who would best serve them. During these conversations, I don't believe anyone who knows Benji would consider his competence and abilities to take on this new chapter. I was more concerned about the compromise he would make for his love of traveling, visiting UNESCO sites, sharing the, quote, foodie experience, engaging with local cultures, paragliding in the Himalayas, swimming with whale sharks, and visiting a panda sanctuary. We believe Benji's love for the law, the willingness to take on a new challenge with the firm belief that he can make a greater difference, has led to his decision. So on behalf of his coffee shop crew and myself, we humbly ask that you favorably consider Ben Sison for magistrate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your testimony, Mr. Bloss.
half a day, Senator Aguon, Senator Ada, Senator Morrison, and Senator Ada. My name is Dr. Suzanne Sison Kaneshir, and I'm here in support of my brother Ben's nomination to be a magistrate judge. Growing up, I always thought my brother would follow in my parents' footsteps and choose a career in medicine. My father was a physician, he's back here, and was in private practice on Guam for 37 years before retiring in 2004. My mother, who is also here, was a registered nurse and worked for GMH in the Department of Public Health and Social Services before retiring in 1992 after 30 years. I was not surprised when he graduated from the University of Hawaii at Manoa with a Bachelor of Science degree in biology. Sorry. While I was away attending dental school, I heard from my parents that my brother decided to go to law school. It came as a shock because I didn't even know he was even considering becoming a lawyer, becoming anything but a physician. But after the initial shock wore off, and thinking about it, becoming a lawyer was probably a better fit for him. Ben is very smart and very knowledgeable. He is constantly on the internet reading about the latest news and world events. He is very technologically savvy and always knows about the latest gadgets on the market. If I had any questions about my computer iPhone, I asked him. My brother loves to learn. For a while, we all thought he would be a professional student. After receiving his law degree, he went back to school 2 more times and earned two master's degrees. I thought that would be the end of the college life, but I was wrong. For the past several years, instead of being the student, he is now an associate professor at GCC, imparting his knowledge to others. It is very difficult to win an argument with my brother. If you hope to succeed, you better get your facts straight and have evidence and supporting documents to back up your claims, especially if it's in opposition of his views. Even then, he will try and win the argument. He is tenacious. This is probably why he's a good lawyer, because he will defend his clients to the end. This is also a good trait for a judge, because he will base his decisions on facts presented to him. My brother loves to travel, like you heard. Every chance he gets, he is off seeing the world, enjoying the people, learning new cultures, and going to new places. He realized that once he becomes a judge, he will no longer have the opportunity to travel as much. He still wants to do it because he wants to give back to the community and make Guam a better place to live. He would make a good magistrate judge, and I hope you give him the opportunity to be one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kaneshir, Dr. Kaneshir, for your testimony, and Mr. Bloss. This evening, any questions for the panel members? If not, you're both dismissed. Thank you. Before I call up the nominee, there's a few items that I'd like to share with the public, just so that we all understand exactly what some of the requirements are. First and foremost, the Guam Legislature, through the Speaker's Office, did receive the nomination from Chief Justice Torres on the 2nd of May. And one of the requirements by the committee was to ensure that an investigation, a thorough investigation, is conducted on the character as well as the professional traits of the individual being appointed as a magistrate judge. So that was one of the undertakings of the committee, and it was completed on the 26th of July. So upon the immediate completion of that, my office, I contacted Attorney Sison, notified him of the completion of that and the findings. Copies were disseminated of that particular report, were made available to members of the committee. And then also, in conjunction with that, I will read a couple of excerpts directly from that particular investigation report. But for the information of the public, the individual who is qualified, or individuals who are qualified for magistrates must be at least 35 years of age, shall be a United States U.S. citizen, a bona fide resident of Guam for at least 5 years, and shall be in the active practice of law in Guam for a period of 7 years before said nomination. Be a member in good standing of the Guam Bar Association, not have been convicted of any felony or any misdemeanor involving moral turpitude, not be related by blood within the 3rd degree of consanguinity or marriage to a judge or justice of the courts of Guam at the time of his or her initial appointment, and must be subject to the same ethical standards as a superior court judge or justice, to include the Guam rules for judicial disciplinary enforcement. So based on the initial qualification requirements. Attorney Sison does meet all those requirements. Now, based on the investigation report, I will just read the two factors that highlight the individual and the qualification. The first one is the findings of the investigator and the qualifications. In accordance with the Guam Code Annotated, GCA Title 7, Chapter 3, subsection 3109C and 3, it was determined through documentation review, interviews, and investigative checks conducted throughout the course of this background report that Mr. Benjamin C. Sison Jr. satisfies the requirements outlined in this section, therefore is considered qualified for the position of a magistrate judge. That's for the concept, the provision of qualifications. The other finding was under suitability, and in accordance with the Guam Code Annotated, GCA Title 7, Title 4, subsection 4401B2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. For those of us who are not attorneys in the room, please excuse all these numerical presentations, but I'm sure attorneys can recognize the specifics of this. Chapter 4, also inclusive of subsection 7, it was determined through documentation review, interviews, and investigative checks conducted throughout the course of this background report that Mr. Benjamin C. Sison Jr. satisfies the requirements outlined in this section, therefore is considered suitable for the position of a magistrate judge. So please be mindful that the investigation was inclusive of any background information on the individual, whether it be financial, whether it be professional in nature, or whether it deals with government outstanding obligations in terms of taxes due to our government. So those are the findings in the report by the investigator. So now if I can invite the nominee, Attorney Benjamin Sison, if you can join us up front, please. And identify yourself for the record and proceed with your testimony, please.
Good evening. My name is Benjamin C. Sison Jr. It's a privilege to be before you today. I'm sorry?
You may proceed with your testimony.
Oh, okay. First of all, I want to say thank you for coming here today through the storm. Not a lot of nice, kind words. I'm speechless in a way. But again, thank you for coming. My family, of course, my extended family, adopted family from Jinapsen, the Castro Perez, Harris, Torres clan, and my close friends, fellow colleagues, clients. I'm touched that you're all here today. I just wanted to give you a little bit of why I believe that I would make a good magistrate for the Superior Court of Guam. As Magistrate Tolentino indicated, the magistrate judge is intended to take on any matters wherever he or she may be needed by the court and assisting the trial judges in processing their civil and criminal cases, all towards the goal of ensuring that justice is administered efficiently, effectively for our island population. I believe that I do have a breadth and of experience and knowledge that will assist the Superior Court of Guam in meeting their mission. I've been serving as an attorney for over 20 years. Okay, I worked as a government attorney. I've also worked as a private attorney. I've had clients that are private individuals, corporate entities, business entities, government entities. And I have worked with, I'm familiar with a lot of various types of laws, including family law, juvenile law, commercial transactions, business law, real property, estate planning, probate, tax law, and other areas of laws. And I think that given this and my fortunate ability to go and have a very good and varied education as well, I would be able to handle any type of cases that is presented before me in the Superior Court of Guam immediately. At this point, I've been working as a traffic and small claims judge, referee, handling all areas of law. Recently, because of the resignation of Judge Canto and the burden of his caseload needing to be handled, they've had me working the past 2 or 3 weeks on child support cases. So I want to contribute the reason why I want to be a magistrate judge is for the challenge. I want to expand my ability to handle various cases, and I believe my experience and my ability to apply what I've learned over the last 20 years will benefit the Superior Court of Guam. And that's the only reason that I want to do it. I want to help you got to know that our court system is one of the best in the country. I'm amazed at the amount of reform and dedication they have into improving our system. And I think you could see that our judicial system is doing well and is getting prepared to battle whatever is necessary in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Sison. First and foremost, I want to thank the Chief Justice for nominating an individual who not only meets the qualifications, but certainly an individual who has that desire to continue to serve our community, especially in this particular capacity. So I want to thank the Chief Justice for making that nomination. I want to also thank you for stepping up and really offering yourself in terms of the last 3 weeks with the increased caseload, the judiciary, because of the resignation of one of the judges. That was a very compressed timeline where, in fact, the judiciary of Guam needed that additional support, and you did step up to provide that assistance and continue to provide that assistance to this very day. So I want to thank you very much with regards to that. I was taking a look at not only the investigation report and the findings, but your entire credentials, and I think that by virtue of the individuals who provided testimony here, it speaks for itself. Your credentials, your background, your experience, and what you actually bring to the table in terms of anticipating service as a magistrate judge in the Superior Court of Guam. So I want to thank you for that. The only question I have would be in reference to your present employment with Guam Community College. How will you address that should you be confirmed, and I would say very strongly confirmed by the Guam legislature?
The position requires that I give up my practice of law as well as any other job. So I'm going to dedicate full-time my efforts towards my position.
Okay, so you do recognize that?
I do recognize that, and it was a difficult decision. I did enjoy, and I do enjoy teaching at the Guam Community College. It's another great organization here on Guam. But yes, I recognize that I have to give up that position.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that response. And let me just close my comments by initially saying this. When you came out with that phrase, and I caught it twice, I want to contribute. You did not only say it once, but you said it twice during the course of your testimony. And it's really that kind of passion in your voice and that kind of desire that our judiciary is in need of in terms of serving our people with the public service as a component, as really the driving factor. So you've got a tremendous responsibility, just like Judge Tolentino has just shared with us in terms of the workload. I look forward to entertaining your nomination on the floor. And Mr. Sison, you certainly have my support, considering all the information I have. So as the chair, you
Thank
have
you,
my
Senator.
support. Thank you. Senator Ada?
Good evening. I don't have any questions, but I do have a couple of comments. First of all, I never made the connection between who your dad was, and I go a long ways back with your father, even when he was in uniform with the Army Reserves. And I do subscribe to the notion that the fruit does not fall far from the tree. So knowing who your father is certainly is a real check mark there. The other part is that I've always seen you down at Hinapsan at Auntie Susie's ranch, and I've always observed you from a distance, and you know you've always been a very cool and calm and collected fellow. So I think I know that when you're in the courtroom, you have to maintain a certain decorum, and if you really wanted to let loose, Hinapsan would have been the place to do that, but you were still cool, calm, and collected down there. And the fact that you are affiliated with the extended Hinapsan family, obviously, I guess for full disclosure, I'm also a part of that family, and
That's correct.
And if you're good enough for them, you're good enough for me. So I congratulate you,
Thank
and
you.
you certainly
Thank you,
have my
Senator.
support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Tamara. Senator Morrison?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we're related. First off, I want to thank everyone who provided testimony this evening and help us to, at least help me understand Mr. Sison. And certainly you bring a base, been going through your packet and clearly indicating from your record that it's clearly what a nominee should possess for the judiciary. I appreciate all the efforts and your public service that you've provided to our community, and as the chairman alluded to, willing to step up and fill up a gap in the courts. Yeah, my full support, sir, and all I could look forward to is you further strengthening this high institution. So I look forward to working with you, and all the best.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Morrison. Senator Toniata.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Sison. That's a lot to give up, your practice and your passion for teaching our children for something that you want to contribute to, and I take my hat off to you on that. But I don't think that's the only thing you're going to be able to, you have to give up, is those hang gliding or rock climbing or whatever else you want to do. You might have to give that up too, being that you're going to have a full agenda there. But I congratulate you on being nominated, and I thank you for accepting that nomination. I look forward to voting on your confirmation, and you have my full support.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you for the kind
Mr.
words.
Chairman.
Thank you very much, Senator Toniata. Well, Attorney Sison, I think you pretty much have a general understanding of where members of the legislative body will proceed in terms of casting their votes. I just want to close again as chair by thanking you very much for stepping up to bat. The one thing that I look at, especially with regards to magistrate judges and Superior Court judges, is really the nature of the compassion of the individual. Because the judges that serve have to be compassionate to our people, but yet firm with the law. And I see that in your personality and your character. Because really, a lot of the cases that you and Judge Tolentino will be undertaking are at the front line, making sure that all of our people who have to go through either small claims or other concerns at the initial stage, really that's where being firm with the law is required, but also being compassionate and understanding of some of the challenges that individuals in their community go through. And I see that those two traits directly in you. And I'm very pleased that, in fact, I can say it again, that the Chief Justice selected you as a nominee. I made the appointment, and I look forward to your service and your contribution to our people. But I mostly look forward to you extending that firmness of the law and also extending that compassion to our people. So I thank you very much. You have our support. The confirmation report should be completed by early next week. We will present it to the legislature, and then hopefully upon the conclusion of the legislative session in August, hopefully by that timeline, you'll be confirmed. So thank you and congratulations again.
Thanks again, Senators.
Thank you, everyone, for your attendance this evening. This concludes our confirmation hearing on the appointment of Magistrate Judge to Magistrate Judge Benjamin Sison. Ladies and gentlemen, if by any chance the public would like to submit written testimony, the committee will continue to receive written testimony on the nomination through close of business this Friday. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen.